and opinions of any of the guests of After Hours AM are not necessarily the views and opinions of After Hours AM, its hosts, its staff, or any of its affiliates.
Welcome to the After Hours program.
Are you ready?
It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Now broadcasting live from the After Hours AM studio, Joel Sturgis.
Hey everybody, welcome to this edition of After Hours AM. I'm your host, Joel Sturgis. Right along with me again this week. What a blessing.
It really is. I can't.
It is. You're the
can't
man,
deny
the
the
myth,
truth.
the legend. Michael O'Neill is with us again, and he's gracing us with his presence. I don't know if I should go that far, no, but no, in all
Probably not.
honesty,
but,
thank
but
you.
tonight, I'm turning this show into a show of love.
It is love.
And romance.
It is romance.
And awesomeness.
It is Valentine's Day edition, after all. And not only are we going to have the winner of the best worst date contest that we put out there, but hour two we have Dustin Pari coming on.
Yes.
And that's
So
going to be a lot of
excited.
fun. I've never had the opportunity to talk with Dustin before, so I'm really excited to speak with him. I know of his work. He does a lot of good stuff out there as a motivational speaker, as an author, as well as being a TV personality. So he's got a lot of stuff going for him. I'm really looking forward to that. And Mike, you brought him onto the show, so I want to thank
did.
you a ton for going out there and grabbing his arm or twisting it or doing whatever you had to do to get him on. So thank you.
Yeah, no, not a problem. All I had to say was, "Hey, I'm co-hosting the show," and he's like, "I'm there."
Well, that sounds easy enough. I wish it was always that easy, right? So over there in
Yes.
Studio B, waiting patiently in, well, I would call it our green room, but no, it's actually brown, is Jennifer Sturgis is waiting because she is going to, and because I see the nervous look on her face, maybe we should take care of the letters, the worst date letters.
Yes, please.
Get them out of the way. We have two contestants, two of them to cut the mustard. We had a lot of submissions. But these two, they're the ones that got me the most and you the most. We kind of talked about them both earlier this week.
Yes.
And they're both, I wouldn't call them uplifting tales, but they're tales nonetheless. So what I'm going
They're
to...
tales of comfort.
They are. It will make you
knowing
feel...
that you're not alone.
It will make you feel like maybe my life really isn't that bad after all. You just never know. Maybe it's a public service. But this being Valentine's Day edition, and we are all about the love. With no further ado, I'm going to go ahead and cue up the romantic music. So the dulcet tones of Jennifer Sturgis may take us away.
Well, hello, everyone. So, we have a runner-up. Her name is Lorianne, and she went out with this guy. She hasn't seen him in a few years. She went off to service in the Army, and when she got back, her and this guy hooked up. They went to the state fair, and guess who they ran into?
Who?
His fiancée.
So wait. They ran into his fiancée.
Yes.
Okay.
So him and his fiancée started fighting, so she was like, well, okay, I'm walking away. So she found a couple other friends, and she was hanging out with them. A couple hours later, he ran up to her again and started apologizing and said that they're no longer together and they should continue the date. That would be horrible. That would be horrible.
Michael, what do you think?
That is arrogance at its finest,
Right?
there. Where not only do you think that it's all right to cheat on your fiance, but then when she breaks up with you for doing that, you're like, well, hey, now I'm free. Let's continue the date.
I'm a free agent now. Let's get it on.
That would be so bad.
Oh my gosh.
I would be crushed.
You would.
No, not really.
You would not be. Wait a minute.
I'd probably kick him.
Oh, Well, you would end the date with
he
violence.
deserves it,
Yeah.
100%.
Well, you know.
And then I'd go and take her, the fiance, and buy her some ice cream. Tell her what a jerk he was or something.
Oh, so you girl power it up.
Oh,
with
hell
her.
yeah.
Gotcha. Well, that was the runner-up, and that's horrible.
Yes, right?
I mean, that's terrible. That's about one of the worst stories.
Oh, you haven't
Out
heard
there.
No, this one is the winner here.
Okay, my ears are peeled to hear what could possibly be worse.
Okay, so Christopher went out with this girl he met online, and he took her out to a dinner, and he was starting to get kind of annoyed because she kept on looking out of the window. And so he asked, well, what's going on? Well, her kids were in the car. Yes.
Wait.
Yes.
She is looking outside while they're eating their Big Mac. I'm assuming.
Yeah, we'll say Big Mac. It doesn't say, but...
Okay. So she's looking outside, and I would imagine, not to speak for him, but I happen to know this individual, and that's what makes it even better. And notices that she's looking outside.
Yeah. So he asked, why are you looking outside? And her kids were waiting in the car. So they walked up to the car, and his mouth just dropped to the floor. Because she reached in, and she checked the power to their devices. They must have had, like, iPads or whatever. Then she kisses them on the cheek, and she says, oh, honey, we have plenty of time. They definitely have more juice to their devices. Yeah, she wanted to continue the date. And he said, well, no, I'm good. Good night. Well, then she must have a big set of balls because she asked if she can crash at his place.
So, after he realized that there were children involved in the date, he tried to do the gentlemanly thing.
Who in the hell brings their kids on a date?
I don't know. And that is why he's the winner, though.
Right?
And who
I'm
would
so
ask?
sorry, Christopher. I'm so sorry. Not all women are like this.
And who would ask at that point if they could crash at your house?
Oh, somebody's just completely clueless.
Right?
Well,
so congratulations, Christopher.
I don't know. Gosh, I almost want to cry for him now.
Yeah.
I mean, in a weird kind of way. I mean, guys, Michael, isn't this nuts?
No, it's not nuts. In fact, I have an honorary mention that I would like to throw in the hat.
I was hoping you'd go into this.
Well, of course.
You teased me earlier this week. You said, "Ooh, I got a story."
Can't skip the story.
Okay.
So obviously I'm automatically disqualified from this, which is fine. But that doesn't mean that I haven't had a bad date. So I too met a girl offline. We were supposed to meet for dinner and then go to a movie. Nothing big. And so we both show up to the restaurant, and I find out after we've both ordered, she's already eaten. And so she had dinner before she came to the dinner, but still ordered food.
What?
Okay.
Ate less than half of it, obviously, because she was full, and then wouldn't even take it home, in a doggy bag. She's like, no, I'm good. And so they threw out the whole thing, which I paid for. So, if we were going Dutch, or whatever, that would have been fine, because it's her money, but
Sure.
It was my money.
Sure.
So then we went to, I don't know why, I guess this was before the whole bathroom ditch thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish you would have done that to me, or that I would have known that existed, because I might have done it. But so we went to the movie, which I paid for again, and she sat a seat away from me. So she wouldn't even sit next to me.
Did you put deodorant on first?
I absolutely did. I smelled wonderful. I think. So I'm not.
He even wore the Old Spice. He got it all going. I could see. I'm painting a mental image of you and her on this date.
So, it was about that time. I was like, no, this isn't gonna work. I don't know why I didn't take all the signs before that, but I don't think that we said more than 2 words other than good night, like the whole rest of the time that we were there. Like, we just sat there staring at the screen. I'm like, I'm not done. I'm not going to be talking to her because obviously she doesn't want to be here. And
Awkward.
But yeah, that's kind of what it became.
I too have a story once you're done, and I might as well, as long as we're in the sharing circle,
Is
I
it
will
about your
share. No, it is not.
It wasn't a date with me.
No, it was not a date with you. Do not worry.
That's unfortunate.
Do not worry. Years ago, when I was a young man, yes, I was once a young man, I took a lady on a date, and she was, I would say, about 4 or 5 years older than I was. I was 23 at this time. She was like 27, 28 years old, and I was pretty naive at that point, and so I took her out, and of course she ordered the most expensive thing on the menu. And I'm talking steak, shrimp, the whole bit. So there we are. We are eating our food, and we are talking, and she... Let me cue back up the music here, because we need that. So she ducks under the table. Out of nowhere.
What?
Like a full-blown, boom, dive under the table. And it leaves me sitting there by myself eating.
Oh,
Oh, with 2 plates.
Yeah, with 2 plates. She,
I know where this is going.
She says, she looks around. She says, is the coast clear? Evidently, I was not in on the coast, not being clear. Her husband had walked into that establishment.
Oh my gosh.
And I only found this out later, that this individual was her husband.
Oh.
And that he was not supposed to be in town that weekend. So, imagine my surprise. So that she takes off, right? Once the coast is clear, she basically jumps out the window to get away. Leaves me with a $150 dinner bill.
Oh my gosh.
Did you take her leftovers home?
I did not. I was so... After she'd explained that this rather large individual was her husband. I mean, I have to add that. He was probably about 6'5". He was not a small man. Once she'd revealed that this is her husband and that she needed to escape quite rapidly, I thought it's best I don't go with her.
Good call.
I wanted to live to see tomorrow. So that was my worst date of all time for this guy. It was absolutely horrible.
Oh, that would have been horrible.
It was horrible.
Can I just inquire on one question?
Yes.
If you didn't know that this guy was her husband, or even what the coast was, how are you to know if the coast was clear or not?
That's what I was thinking. I didn't even know who she was looking at until she pointed him out to me and explained that was her husband. So I'm glad I didn't know, because I would have had the guilty look on my face. And had I had that, this man might have murdered me that night, and we would be doing a very much different radio show.
Yeah, I think you would be.
I'd be broadcasting from the other side.
Oh, that would have been horrible.
It was horrible, but you live, you learn.
It would have been After Hours AM with Lisa and her maiden name and special co-host Michael O'Neill.
Yeah, it would have been a much different show than what we have here today. But, fate has other plans. And I want to say, though, that our winner is a happily married man today.
Oh, good.
So there
Not
is...
to this girl.
Not to that girl. So I
And
just
I
want to
am
add
still
that.
single.
And Mike is single. So any of you girls listening that like to soothe his poor, wounded heart.
So
Can get a hold of him.
I was thinking that perhaps maybe we should auction me off tonight or something.
Well, we could do that for a good cause.
we're-
We could throw that out there.
For a good cause. It's definitely charitable, and you can write it off on your taxes.
Max, $5.
It's
yes.
starting at $5.
Well, that is that concludes this year's segment into, After Hours Lonely Heart Club. Sad,
Population me.
horrible dates.
That
But
may lead
not
to good things.
It may lead to good things. So, but anyhow, if you are looking for something good in your life, something awesome in your life, you gotta check out the Unity Con that's coming up in Duluth. There, you can now maybe you can meet your soulmate there, right, Michael?
Actually, I've gotten, when I first started this, so those of you listening, obviously I'm the organizer for the Minnesota Para-Unity Convention. When I first started doing this, I was getting email after email or message after message from people being like, "Oh, I'm so happy you're doing this. This is great, blah, blah, blah." But I was floored by how many times it was like, I met some of my best friends at Paracon 2 years ago, and for me personally, like, I have friends now that I met at Paracon, and so when you say, you can meet your best friend, you can meet your futures, you can, because people do it.
Gosh darn it, it's love, man. It's love.
That's right.
And even though I'm still playing the gushy music in the background,
Why? See, I can't hear it, so I'm just going to be like, why?
So, anyhow, I'd like to thank you, Jennifer Sturgis, for coming in and reading those for us. Giving it a little bit of class, this show, that maybe was lacking before. But, that again, Christopher Balzano, we salute you. You are the winner, the 2020 winner of the best worst date ever, After Hours AM. Thank you.
What do they win besides?
They get to win a book of their choosing, courtesy of Llewellyn Publishing. So
Nice.
we will be getting that out ASAP to him. He is the winner, and I got something for the runner-up as well. So don't worry. Even though you didn't win, we got a little something for you, too.
Nothing for the honorary mention?
Well, what would you like? You get to be on radio with a radio god.
Next week.
And you get to learn
I'll
from the
take
best. That all being said, Michael, now we did mention the Duluth Para-Unity Convention that's coming up, and I like to plug that often. Those tickets are on sale. Go to paraunitycon.com, and you're going to want to buy those tickets. I do know that the vendors' booths are going quick, so if you're a vendor and you would like to get in on this, I know it's going to be a huge weekend, and there's a potential for actually a lot of money to be made as well. So if you're a vendor, we're all about helping you guys out. So go ahead and get those booths bought quickly, because they are going quick. Michael and I just talked the other day, and they're moving very rapidly. So make sure you get that right away, along with the VIP tickets. Those are starting to go, stuff like that. So act now. I know that October seems like a long way away, but really it's not in the grand scheme of things. So again, the paraunitycon.com, paraunity.com.
No. That's actually not the website. It's mnparacon.com.
There it is, mnparacon.com. I was looking at the Facebook. I apologize.
Oh, no, that's all right.
You can look up the Facebook page, which, of course, is also out there. And you can go ahead and get your tickets. So I know, Mike, go ahead.
I was going to say the promotion that we're doing now for vendors.
Yes.
So if for any vendor, a new vendor that comes in during the entire month of February, you are entered into a drawing to have a 1-hour interview here on this show with
us,
Joel and myself.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. And
to plug your team or plug your business, and so any vendor this month.
That is awesome. I love getting local teams on or smaller teams on the air, because it's just fun talking with them, because we don't get a chance to do that all the time. So it's a lot of fun getting them on the air with us, because they always bring something different to the table with them.
Yes, they do.
They do. I know there's one more love story that you want to get to.
I do.
And
and
this
it's so
one
inspirational
we should
to
get
me.
to, as long as we're in the half hour of love. before we move on to other news. What do we got going on, Mike? There's something crazy going on.
So in the Daily Star, I don't know if it was today. Yes, it was posted today. The title alone made me want to absolutely not skip over it for tonight. So the title of it is "Man to Have Threesome with Two Ghosts for Kinky Valentine's Day Paranormal Sex." I love it.
What?
So yes, Gary DeNoia, and I don't know if I said his name correctly, 35 from New Jersey. I completely expected this to be Florida.
Joyce.
I really did.
Yeah, I did too. Crazy Florida man.
Yeah, I mean, but then again, if it would have been Florida, the title would have been like "Local Florida Man, is going to have threesome sex on Valentine's Day with two ghosts."
And it wouldn't have been that far-fetched if that title would have been there, because, just Florida man. And you would have went on about your day.
I would have been like, that makes sense. So I'll read some of this to you. So this is a man who claims to be in a relationship with a ghost, has opened up about the couple's incredible plans for Valentine's Day. Gary DeNoia, who described his quote-unquote amazing sex life with Lisa, a specter, has told Daily Star Online all about his exciting plans for their most romantic day of the year. And there are photos of like him on like the Hudson River with his arm around nobody.
I'm looking at that. See, for the longest time, look at that picture. I thought he was leaning against something. No, he's holding somebody that we clearly cannot see.
Yes. So Gary says, we both think that going out on Valentine's Day is overpriced and overrated. We have a tradition. That night we make popcorn and ice cream sundaes. Then we watch our favorite movie, which ironically is Ghost. I know, we're so corny.
Oh my God.
Afterwards, we make love on a bed of roses. The roses stay on the bed and we go to sleep. So we wake up to the smell of flowers.
Oh my God.
This year we're getting kinky. We're going to have our first threesome. Lisa has recently befriended a female spirit, and I thought it would be fun to bring her over to spice things up. I've never had one before, Gary says. Not even with two living women. I'm a little nervous, so needless to say, there will be a lot of wine involved to loosen me up.
What? Oh, this man has to be unhinged. I mean,
I don't know. But he does have a lot of pictures with him
alone
with Lisa. He continues, and it was Lisa's idea for the threesome. She's confident in the way I feel about her, and we're both very sexual and know we would be comfortable having sex with another spirit without any emotional attachment. Her only rule is she doesn't want me kissing her friend Sadie,
of course not.
Which I'm totally okay with.
Which I'm totally okay with. Oh,
he's very understanding. He's a very understanding boyfriend.
He really is, and yeah. Okay. I'll hold judgment until you're done.
Okay, so it ends with this. But despite the couple's hunger for new experiences in the bedroom, they are planning something adorable in the day. Talking about their plans for the rest of the day, Gary explained, I'm going to make her breakfast in bed. French toast is her favorite. I also leave notes hidden throughout our apartment for her to find while I'm at work. Romantic things, inside jokes, naughty talk. Basically anything that will make her smile. Not that anybody would have any idea if she did or not.
So Gary, I mean, I gotta say, I don't even know where to begin with you. So
this isn't the first time I've come across something like this.
No. Remember the lady that was going to marry the 400-year-old pirate ghost?
Yeah. Well, I think she said she went on some talk show, and said that she had sex with 20 different male spirits.
Yeah, and then they were getting a divorce because he cheated on her. Remember that? There was a follow-up story to this lady.
I missed the follow-up. So her pirate ghost husband cheated on her?
Yes. He cheated with I think it was a 300-year-old druid ghost, I do believe. And it was over. The dream was over. And no longer could she trust him anymore. And now we have Gary, which really should meet this young lady. Maybe they could, hit it off. And they both, been with spirits. He believes that he has, I'm going to go on a limb and say, the man might be a little touched, a little unhinged. And he has a ghost girlfriend. Okay, there is a theory that you brought up before the show, because the food. Maybe go, why the food? Obviously, she's not going to eat the sundae. But you'd brought up that maybe it's an energy thing.
Well, yeah, there is a theory out there that when you deal with offerings and stuff like that, that obviously the what almonds or strawberries or fruit or whatever you want it to are leaving for the spirits as an offering. Obviously, those aren't going to be eaten as we would eat them. So what they do is they ingest and absorb the energy that's with it, with the offering and the intent for the offering, and that is supposed to be what happens. So
gotcha. This guy, he's having a threesome. Not only does he have a ghost girlfriend, but now they're adding one more. It's him, his girlfriend, plus one. And it's another ghost. And, the guy doesn't look all that strange.
No.
He doesn't, his hairdo, I would have chose a different hairdo, but that's just me.
I am a perfectly straight man, and I can see how he would go to a bar and do pretty well. He's not a bad looking guy.
No, he's not ugly. And so he
right.
That's
how men talk about that kind of. We can't say, we're not allowed to say that another man is handsome, but all we can really say is he's not ugly.
He's not ugly, and he looks like he's doing very well for himself. So I wonder why. Gosh, we got to track this guy down and have him on the show.
Oh Lord!
Really? We gotta track this guy down. We gotta get him on.
We contact the reporter.
We gotta, man. We gotta. We gotta get him on at least for a 10-minute spot to tell us all about what it's like to date a ghost.
How they met?
How would they meet? Because he doesn't talk about how they met at all.
No.
He just talks
about
that
they've been together for, I think, 2 years now.
He just talks about the kinky side of the relationship. Does she ever whine and nag him?
I don't know, but that's a really, really good question. If he says no, she's usually pretty quiet, then I'm just going to burst out laughing. I'm sorry.
We'll do our best to track this guy down, but we're gonna see if we can't have that happen. Get him all tracked down. We got to ask this guy. Now, I just need to know now. Don't you need to know?
No.
No.
Because technically, even though he's probably, a little unhinged and imagining what's going on, he is still going to have more action than me.
Oh!
Even though he is an inspiration.
Oh. Well, if there's a young lady out there that would enjoy to date a man like Mike, and Mike's a good guy. He's a decent individual. He has a good heart about him. Yes, I'm trying to be nice in this beautiful Valentine's weekend because that's what we have coming up.
That's male speak for he ugly.
No, gosh, no. I did
Seriously,
not say.
When the first thing that you tell a woman is he's got a great personality, that just means he ugly.
I've been on some really bad blind dates too, man. Oh my God, like horrible blind dates.
Me too.
But anyhow, yes, Michael is single. He is the single side of the show, and he is looking for love, and he would even settle for looking for love in the wrong places.
No,
you wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
Oh,
no.
Okay. Well, we have to run the break on that note. When we come back, we're going to be talking about some mustard ice cream, a little more paranormal. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to report a bear sighting.
Location.
My backyard.
Oh, your backyard. Try telling a bear that.
I did, and this bear talked back.
Talking bear, that's rich.
No, wait, it was Smokey Bear.
Smokey. Why didn't you say so?
I did say so.
Continue.
I was burning yard waste.
No, boy.
He told me to burn legally and responsibly, and to remember that if it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave.
And as always, he's right. You know, 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans. That means 9 out of 10 wildfires can be prevented.
Yeah, I know that now.
Thanks to me.
Actually, thanks to Smokey.
As usual, the talking bear gets all the credit. Get your Smokey on. Always burn responsibly and contact your local fire department for open burning regulations. Because 9 out of 10 wildfires can be prevented. Brought to you by Smokey Bear, the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at smokeybear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Northern Tool and Equipment.
I got a rather serious problem over here.
All right, what are we looking at?
Cranky mother-in-law asleep on the couch in the man cave.
Dear God.
It gets worse.
That's impossible.
She's passed out on the remote.
I stand corrected.
What do I do?
Okay, I want you to grab a Torrin Big Red hydraulic bottle jack.
Okay.
Now you wedge that bad boy in under your mother-in-law and crank her up skyward.
It's working. And got the remote.
Great. Now grab that Torrin Big Red 2-ton folding shop crane and put that woman on wheels.
And away we go.
There's no problem a little horsepower can't solve. Northern Tool and Equipment.
And welcome back to After Hours AM. I'm your host, Joel Sturgis. Right along with me
is me,
Michael O'Neill. Michael O'Neill. And when we were leaving, before we had to run a break so fast because up against a hard break. But one thing I want to let everyone know, if you got questions, Mike has answers. If you have some burning questions or need advice in life, let me tell you, Michael O'Neill is right here to answer them for you. Within reason, of course. He may not help you bury bodies, but he'll help you get over a lost love, let me tell you.
Yes, I think I can do that. So the whole reason that this came up is because we were talking about the love and the bad dates and all this other stuff.
Sure.
Back in my youth, like 10 years ago or whatever, I used to give out advice to people. I was single then too, and it would always seem to help. So I actually, on some of my personal ad things on like OkCupid and Plenty of Fish or whatever, I actually advertised myself as the relationship doctor. So even if you didn't want to talk to me or date me, you could send me your like relationship drama, and then I would give advice.
Did it work?
It did. Actually, I did get a couple. Like I started dating this guy. I met off this website. He's doing this, and we're doing this and this, and I don't understand this. And I'd either ask questions or I would give my advice, and they seem to enjoy it. So
I don't have much experience at dating websites, so I'm going to ask a couple questions. It's out of curiosity. I always want to know.
Sure. This is all about love.
Is the dating website like maybe one of the most loneliest? There we go. Corners of the internet. Are people just truly looking for love? Is that 99% of them, or is there what's going on there, man? No. You mean they're not looking for love on Plenty of Fish?
Oh God, no! The sad thing is that Plenty of Fish, I guess, was started to be some sort of like religious Christian type dating service. I mean, that's what was Plenty of Fish was. Jesus and how he made fish for everybody. And wow, did that not happen?
I was gonna say, boy, did that take a left turn.
No, I don't even think it even started right to that goal.
Yeah.
So basically what it has turned into, and it has been for years and years, is every guy on there will message pretty much almost every single girl on there looking for one-night stands and sex.
It's a booty call place. Is what you're saying.
Pretty much. But the women, now those are the guys. The women, on the other hand, I would say 90% are on there looking for a good guy. Like they're there to actually get a date and meet a good guy. They're just not finding that.
So what you're saying is there's a large disparity between the sexes and what they're looking for.
Oh, huge. And now, and and I don't know whether to feel bad for them or not, but now the guys have to contend with all the bots.
Right,
that are
right.
there.
Remember that, what was it called years ago? Ashley Madison or whatever it was called.
Oh, AshleyMadison.com.
And
yeah.
I remember,
Life's short, have an affair.
Yes, I remember covering that years ago because a couple of high-profile celebrities got caught on there when that big data breach happened. And what was funny was
their system was hacked.
Yeah, and they came out and they said, about 95% of the women you've talked to over the years was us. It was a bot. They never existed. And so
that's awesome.
Not only was their lives completely ruined, and rightfully so, by the way, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But they had to feel really stupid that they got turned on by a robot.
Those robots can be pretty good.
Well, are you patiently waiting for the invention of the fembot?
No.
Why didn't I think you were?
No, I'm not patiently waiting for it. I'm not waiting for it at all. But I have not given up on the theory that is probably where my life is leading to.
Oh, come on, man! Keep the faith. Keep the faith. You got.
I have plenty of faith. I have plenty of faith.
See, now most people that I have met that do the online dating thing, it just doesn't. For most, I'm not saying all. There's obviously exceptions to every rule. It never seems to pan out. You're right. It always seems to be a scammer. A lot of those out there, evidently, that are on these dating websites. And then, of course, it's kind of like how it's been explained to me, going on a website like this, is like trying to date in the land of misfit toys. Nobody wants a car with square wheels.
I actually like a good question that I get asked a lot on there is how is this site going for you? And
obviously not too well if you've been there.
I've been there for many years. In fact, I think if I'm there for another couple months, I am automatically nominated to the board of directors.
They will dedicate a wing of their server room to you.
Yes. And it's not by choice. I can't wait for the day that I get to delete it, but it has not happened yet. But crap. Now I lost my train of thought. Thanks a lot, Joel.
Oh, I know. I know. We're wallowing in your misery of no dates. Just for a minute.
Yeah, that's enough to drown me in sorrows.
Well, anyhow, before you start drinking, why don't you reach for the ice cream instead? I like that segue. Look at that.
You really, really want to talk about this.
I do because it grosses me out. And I know there's people out there that don't mind strange food combinations, and God bless you. I mean, look at Andrew Zimmerman. He's made a whole career out of eating strange foods. And that's okay. And more power to you. But when French's comes out, yes, the mustard company comes out with ice cream, that is where I kind of draw that line. Wouldn't you say?
I can see that. I can't. I would never try it. I'm not a huge mustard fan, and even if I was, I don't think that I like Miracle Whip. But if they came out with Miracle Whip ice cream, would not have it.
I have seen wasabi in ice cream, and people say that's good. I have heard of other things in ice cream. Hell, I even tried a soda one time that allegedly tasted like an entire turkey dinner for Thanksgiving.
Yes. Jones Cola.
Yes, and I don't know if you've ever had one of those pass your lips, but if you have not, don't.
I have not.
Well, French's decided it wanted to do something interesting in the snack section, like we are really lacking in this country in the snack section. for National Mustard Day, which falls on August 3rd. That's coming up, I guess, not too far away. So they decided that they're going to involve an ice cream company, an ice cream and sandwich company called Koolhaas, to help them with their plan. After 115 years of simply using mustard on, well, where it belongs, hot dogs and the such, it was time to shake things up, Mike. Why not some ice cream? Is what they thought to themselves. I could tell you why. Because it's probably really, really disgusting. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong, but I do not see mustard and ice cream make a good combination. So anyhow, Koolhaas CEO Natasha Case shared her experiences with helping the new ice cream along, developing it. It was a challenge because, she says, they wanted to incorporate the brand and the taste of mustard while making it delicious as well. They use real French's mustard in the ice cream, she says, and then incorporate cake batter to create a delicious snack. Now, would you try this, Mike? Would you?
No.
I couldn't do it. I really couldn't do it. I like mustard. I do. But like you and Miracle Whip, just because you like it in one thing doesn't mean it'll be good in another.
In fact, I so don't want to try it. I don't want to try it so much that I don't want anybody else to try it. So if I had enough money and I saw it in the grocer's freezer, I would buy it all, and then it would all go in the trash.
Well, you're lucky, though, because it's not going to be sold here in our great state of Minnesota. It's going to be sold pretty much exclusively on the East Coast, such as Brooklyn, Manhattan, and the Hamptons, is where you can buy it. Yes, where they're a little nutty anyway to begin with. But they will be releasing, for those that cannot get to the East Coast to buy it, they're going to be releasing the recipe so you can make it at home.
Recipe.
First, I would imagine they're going to be charging for this recipe. And number two, if you're crazy enough to make it and you're crazy enough to eat it, I don't know that I want to know you. You know, I kind of draw the line there.
You know what's amazing to me? That you don't want anybody that would try French's mustard ice cream, to be in your life at all. But you can't wait to get the guy that wants to have sex with two ghosts on the show.
But see, I understand that part. I understand to some extent him.
You understand ghostly love?
Well, I understand.
Love?
No. See, no, it's okay to have mustard love, but you don't necessarily lay down in a biblical sense the mustard.
Biblical sense?
Yeah, sex, fornication, getting it on. That's a nice way to say,
Definitely biblical for get it on.
Yeah. Anyhow, this guy, the more I think about this guy and his ghost,
the more you respect him.
The more I sympathize with him. Not respect him, but sympathize.
Well, now that your wife's out of the basement, that's good.
Yeah, she's out of the studio. So
I'm glad that you waited for that.
But she's listening. I'm telling you, she's got the radio on right
back
now.
Downstairs really soon.
Well, that is why we lock a studio when we broadcast. So I will live at least through the show. But getting back to this guy, it's not that I sympathize. I guess I empathize. Maybe that's a better word. I empathize. He's lonely.
No.
And he's creating his own reality, which we've seen that happen before. But we've seen it happen in a very violent context. Look at Ed Gein, for instance. He created his own reality.
Okay.
So this guy, I guess my point... he would dig up bodies and have sex with bodies.
Apples to oranges, I guess.
It is. But what I'm saying is this guy isn't hurting anybody. Even if he believes he has a ghost girlfriend, right? He's not hurting anybody.
No, that is very, very true.
There's no victim here that we're aware of unless you count a ghost as being the victim.
my self-esteem, maybe.
Well, yeah. No, I'm not saying
count?
he's not a little touched, or maybe he should maybe look for someone with a heartbeat. But,
Actually,
well, yeah, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying. Now that I let this story simmer in the back of my head, just a little bit, I kind of understand. No, actually, I think the guy's a bunch of bull. I think this guy's doing it, to be honest with you. He wants the publicity.
The attention?
He wants the attention. Come on. He doesn't even believe it. You look at that picture where he's allegedly holding his loved one. He knows he's not holding anybody. This guy's full of it. He's nuts.
He's smooching her in the next one.
He's smooching the air in the next one.
Well, I meant, like, quote unquote, metaphorically, I suppose.
So I guess between French's ice cream and talking to a guy that thinks he's having sex with ghosts, I kind of lean towards the guy with the ghost.
Well, they're both paranormal, that's for sure.
They are. They are paranormal in their own right. They definitely are. What's your thoughts? Now that we've had time to let it simmer in the back of our heads, thought about it over the break, what do you think?
Are you asking me or are you asking our listeners?
I'm asking you and our listeners. And again,
I've
the
already
text,
said what I think.
Text line is 612-326-6874. The text line is 612-326-6874. Go ahead, give us a text. We got 15 minutes before the great Dustin Pari comes on. If you'd like to weigh in on this man and his strange spectral love, go ahead. Hit us up, and we will gladly, within reason, read your text live on air. No curse words, and keep it clean. Thank you.
Exactly. And if you have an Ask Mike question.
Well, let's see. Oh. We got a taker. We left the bait in the water, and there's a taker. Okay. As a psychologist, this is coming from Mary. As a psychologist, I understand the loneliness. But as an individual that knows fantasy from reality, this man smacks of a mental disorder, if I didn't know any better. Taking the article at face value, if he truly believes he is in a relationship with a ghost, I agree with you on one part, Joel. He isn't hurting anybody. But another part of it, too, is maybe he should interact more with the living and not be so concentrating his energies onto the dead. That's just my 2 cents as a therapist. Thank you.
So here's the twist in that. His job is in the hospitality industry. So he has to interact with people. He does.
Here's another text that just popped up. Mike, how far would you drive for a date?
Okay, so I actually, this was one of the jokes. See, in my profile, which I think is phenomenal, if you ever find me on there, one, I'm sorry, but two, it's a great profile. But there's a joke on there that I use, and I say that I will go to the ends of the earth for love, but for like a date, I would only walk like 6 blocks.
You're willing to go 6 blocks away for true love.
Yeah, for true love, I'm willing to go to the end of the earth. But if I have to walk, it shrinks to 6 blocks.
Well, you know, and that now you have an investment in time when you have to walk 6 blocks. So I mean, you really are investing a lot.
And like I said, it was just a joke. Okay.
No, we understand.
I have, as a serious answer, I have actually driven. I've driven a couple hours to go on a date before.
You remind me of the Meatloaf song. I would do anything.
I would do anything for love, but I won't do that.
I won't do that. And walking.
The only thing
is the part that's that part.
But I think the song is "I will never forget the way you feel right now." Oh no, like that's what he won't forget. I will never forget the way I felt walking this distance as I do right now.
Oh, good Lord. Oh, well, you know, God bless you, Mike, and And we all know that there is a
Show.
Mrs. O'Neill out there somewhere just waiting for you to find her. We hope.
Sure.
We got a story that's just coming in. Hey, Joel. Hi, Mike. It's me.
Hey.
Mike. We met a couple years ago back at Paracon. I don't know if you remember me or not, but we had a nice little conversation about poltergeist activity. But anyhow, since then, I have been hooked on your show. Well, thank you, Mike. I wanted to reach out and tell you my story.
Wait. We both have a show here, so maybe he's talking about my show.
Well, he goes on to say a phone. Anyhow, I want to reach out and tell you my story. Recently I have been abruptly woken to a chill and a scent of a woman's perfume at 3 a.m. It never bothers me, as I feel it's probably my grandmother. But the other night I felt I was nudged awake, and I woke sweaty. I was awoken, maybe is the word you want to use, sweaty and extremely angry, and felt a big presence in the room at 3:07 a.m. I know this because I happened to look at my clock on my nightstand. Upon waking, an extreme strong scent of cologne of what might possibly that been, guys. I'm just curious. My dad used to wear a very similar cologne. I hope it was him bothering me, but I don't understand why I would wake up so angry. Your thoughts are very much appreciated, both of you. Again, you guys rock. Thanks. Wow.
Okay, I'm stuck between making a joke and making a serious, suggestion.
Yeah.
I'm riding the fence. So, I mean, that definitely could. I mean, obviously, if hopefully it is your grandmother, especially if she's not bothering you.
Yeah.
The 3 a.m. though, always at 3 a.m. I guess I would want to know if that means anything to anybody.
Yeah.
But I mean like you. But
because I don't buy the whole dead time thing. I never have the 3 a.m. dead time. That's just me though. So it's just my opinion.
Oh yeah,
because the place is
not
haunted.
either.
It's haunted.
Yeah.
I don't think it really matters the time of day. I mean, I've investigated during the day with great results. Sun out and everything. So you don't necessarily need it to be dark. It just works better for a lot of our equipment.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know exactly. I guess I would have to know if it repeats. If it's a one-off, if it's a one-off and that's the only time it happens and you go another 3, 4, 5 weeks and it never returns, then yeah, I mean, it might have been your father just kind of checking in and maybe he's pissed off at how dirty your room is. I don't know.
Well, yeah, Mike just texted back.
Is
And
your
he
room
says,
spotless, Mike?
He says, Mike, I'm fearful it's happening during, I've never heard of this, so maybe you can correct me, the devil's hour.
Oh, yeah. I don't agree with it. So basically, the people who want to believe that everything is a demon and that everything is evil, they feel that Jesus Christ was born at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so that the witching hour of like the Antichrist and the evil or whatever is 3 a.m. And that's, I think, where like dead time came from and blah, blah, blah. But I don't buy it at all. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people do, though, because I know I've had a lot of cases where I mention the word like this. They're getting woken up at 3 a.m. and like everybody's eyes go wide and they're like, oh my God, that could be demonic. And like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why they call 3 a.m. like the witching hour and why it's so.
Gotcha.
So
I've heard a lot of theories. 3 a.m. is also could be against the Holy Trinity. That's why some people say it happens at 3 a.m. I've heard a lot of theories over the years about it, but do I buy it? Not really, personally, but that's just my own personal belief. I don't. So, but keep us posted, Mike. I mean, and if you need an investigation, you can get a hold of either one of us. Just go ahead, text us over at afterhoursam@gmail.com, and if you're closer to this Mike and you'd like to talk, I'm sure that he'd be more than open to speaking to you at least a little bit more in depth about it.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, if anybody has anything that they want, a question that maybe they think Joel is too busy, which could very well be the case, you can always email me at director@odysseyparanormalsociety.com. I've got like 3 different pages on Facebook for everything that I'm doing. So yeah, you can get a hold of me all over the place.
Wow, we got another ghost story coming in. Hi, I'm Beth, and I found you guys on iHeartRadio the other day. Well, thank you, Beth. Thank you for seeking us out and listening. I'm loving the show. I've been gorging on you guys for the last several days. I have a story you might be interested in. While walking back into my house from the backyard, a waft of smoke blew in front of me. At first, I thought it was from the neighbor's chimney, being it's winter time, and I thought I was imagining things. Small print, guys. I'm reading off my phone. Or reading off the text line. But I could not see any smoke. Next, I thought it was my son working in his workshop. Maybe he was burning something in the front. When I went to check, he wasn't in there. It was empty. It was an empty workshop. I saw the smoke again and smelled the smoke. I couldn't find an explanation for it. Any suggestions of what it could have been? Well, you know, it is winter, and you bring up a great point. It is winter time. And is there a possibility, if you're smelling smoke, you don't really elaborate what kind of smoke, wood smoke, what kind of smoke, but maybe somebody has a fire going, a chimney, and that wind might have blown some of that your way. What do you think, Mike?
Yeah, that was exactly what I was thinking. I mean, just because, like, it's not like right next door to you. Like, if you look around and like, I don't see any. Doesn't mean like a thing across the street or something like that. I mean, if you're downwind from any of that, you're eventually going to smell it.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does carry far. Smoke does. That smell just really carries. I know.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say, we have a campground quite a ways away from us, and during the summer, there's campfires going on, and you could smell it just like it's in your own yard.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. So, yeah.
So that may not be paranormal?
That's my...
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
So, but if you guys have more stories you'd like to share with us, always email them over to afterhoursam@gmail.com. You can also text them in. Again, 612-326-6874 is that line. We'll listen to whatever you have to say. We got one Mike, can you help me out story right now, right here. Mike, I think there's a guy, I think my boyfriend is cheating on me. It would seem that he dodges any kind of questions about where his whereabouts have been late at night. Now, he works afternoon shift, but after work, he normally used to come home right away. Now it's a couple hours before he comes home. What's the best way to maybe confront him without making him angry?
Well, okay. I guess here's if a
you
guy
asked
really
for it, buddy.
No, I know, and sometimes I like to think about them. So if I got to go right off the top of my head here. So what comes to me right away is, how long have you been dating? I mean, if this is something you've been doing for a very, very long time, and now he's kind of moving, that might be something. But so basically, if he is cheating on you, who really cares if he's angry or not? He's a douche. You need to get rid of him.
But be careful, though. Be careful. We don't want anything to escalate.
Well, of course not. But I mean, and again, if he's the violent type, then you definitely don't need to be with him either. Just saying, Joel.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. You are 100% correct.
But so are you. I mean, there's no need to like take this to DEFCON 1. But but the thing is that if you just confront him and you're like, I need to know blah 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 if you're doing this or not.
Yeah.
If he's willing to cheat on you, he's also willing to lie to you. So it's always going to be like, no, baby, I ain't doing that. What are you talking about? True. And then he's just going to turn it over on you because now you accused him of something that whether he's doing or not, you don't know.
Yeah.
So I guess the best thing to do is try to get in good with his friends.
Yeah. Yes. Do some investigating, some sleuthing.
Yeah.
Just don't Don't go up half-cocked. Make sure you have the evidence to support the accusation, would be what I would say.
And pay attention to him right when he comes in the door. What he smells like, what he looks like. I remember one time I was actually talking with a lady about her thing. She thought maybe her boyfriend was cheating on her because he would like go to a concert and his hair would be completely gelled over, and then he'd come back and it was all gone, like he had washed it.
Gotcha.
Like he had been in the shower. I mean, that really got to her. So, I mean, pay attention to what he does right when he comes in the door.
Exactly. We got to get out of here, though. We got to bring Dustin Pari in. I don't mean to cut it short.
And he is ready and waiting to go.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be right back. Dustin Pari right after this. And good advice. Thank you guys for all the texts, all the stories, and all the interaction. It's much appreciated. Thanks again.
Hi, Tom Bodette. If you can hear me, then you have an internet connection, which means you can do cool things online, like listen to streaming radio, obviously, or watch a video of a monkey washing a cat. Let your freak flag fly. Or you can book a room at a great price at motel6.com. Isn't the internet wonderful? Everything you want right at your fingertips, and whoa, did not need to see that. I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you.
Unexpected reactions to smart financial decisions brought to you by feedthepig.org.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off.
I can't believe it.
I can't believe it either. I paid more than the minimum each month, and soon enough, it was gone.
So you're just giving up?
Giving up on what?
The life of luxury. Egyptian cotton, caviar Thursdays, designer everything.
What are you talking about?
Our plan. What happened to winning the lottery and mastering the art of the perfect mimosa? Hosting galas, wearing enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacationing in the French Riviera, and then buying it.
I just thought maybe it was time to prepare for my future. You know, set some financial goals, make some smart investments, open a 401k.
Financial goals? Investments? A 401k? You are horrifying right now. Listen, if winning the lottery were easy, everyone would do it.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Northern Tool and Equipment.
So me and the boys head out to tailgate today and find some other fans in our spot.
Well, it happens.
Cheering for the wrong team.
Oh, this is war.
Even worse, they've got this couch set up and everything.
A couch?
Yeah, it's sectional.
All right, first thing, don't ever use the word sectional again.
Done.
Second, I want you to grab a 4,700-pound tow chain with J-hook and grab hammer. Throw that on the back of your truck.
Got it.
Now you're going to Hail Mary the J-hook over the end of that couch. Time to find a better spot for your new friends.
That should do it.
There's no problem a little horsepower can't solve. Northern Tool and Equipment.
Taking a family of 5 to the amusement park can cost a small fortune.
Oh, yeah. So to save some money, we thought, hey, let's bring the amusement park to us.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. Step right up, young man. Are you ready to ride the wacky waterfall?
That's just the bathtub with the shower head running.
Nope, it's the wacky waterfall.
It's a shower, Dad.
Waterfall.
Wacky.
There's an easier way to save. To get a free rate quote, go to geico.com. Then buy online, over the phone, or at your local Geico office.
Green light. Hey, girl. School zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
And welcome back to After Hours AM, everybody. I'm your host, Joel Sturgis. Right along with me, Michael O'Neill. You know, when I say right along with me, Mike, don't be afraid, man. It's okay. Say you're here.
So what? Pipe my own name in there? I did. And then you just talked over me.
Unless it's kind of like that. Remember in high school where the pretty girl would come up to you and say, "Yeah, we're dating, but don't tell anybody." Maybe that's kind of like you in the show. You just don't want anyone to know you're on it.
No, right. So thank you again for once again pointing out the loneliness of my life. Appreciate that. This is a recurring theme.
Well, I'm all about the love, man. We have a great guest on tap tonight, and I really am looking forward to this interview. So why don't you go ahead and tell everyone who we're talking to tonight?
So tonight we brought in for the first time, Save the Best for Last, and absolutely love this guy. One of my favorite guys in the entire paranormal field. He's author, lecturer, motivational speaker, TV personality, and just probably one hell of the nicest guy you're ever going to meet. And it's none other than Mr. Dustin Pari. Good evening, Dustin.
Hey, good evening. Good to talk with you again, Mike, and thanks for having me on as well, Joel. Looking forward to this.
Well, thank you for coming on. And like I had said during the break, I've always wanted to speak with you. You have quite a story about yourself. We're
still writing it day by day.
You're right. It's a long running story. We're nowhere near to the end. I mean, you're just a young guy yet. But I
appreciate that. I don't feel like I feel close to death, but I appreciate it.
Gosh, I'm in my mid 40s, Dustin. So I think I could probably say that.
All right.
But
I'm right there with you, man.
But you weren't born into TV. I was reading your bio. How did life start? I guess let's take it from the top. Brand new audience might not know who you are, but and if they don't know who you are, I'd like to know what the rock they have painted when they're living under it, what mural they're looking at. But why don't you take us through who Dustin Pari is and was, and how you got involved in this crazy thing called the paranormal?
Well, I was conceived in the back of a semi in a truck stop.
A '79 Yugo. At a 7-Eleven, Mom met Dad.
Know that conception story, but it's been told to me because that's the type of family I grew up in. So that's all true. But I started out, like a lot of people in the paranormal field, having my first paranormal experience when I was a kid, seeing what we call a shadow figure by today's standards, and that just kind of putting me out there wondering what else was there. And before the advent of reality TV, when I was a kid, you had to go to a library and you had to get books out and take them home and read them and study and learn these things. And once I was old enough, I started going out with my friends and checking out places, and now I always have to do the legal disclaimer: please do not go out into the woods, do not go into abandoned buildings, do not break into places. But when I was a kid,
do not trespass.
Yes. Yeah, nobody told me these kind of things in particular. So that's how, I never heard anything or heard anybody or broke into anything. But that's how I started. And then the television stuff didn't come around to season 2 of Ghost Hunters. I was the original fanboy. I watched season 1, and I was like, whoa, what is this? These guys are invited in people's homes where I'm getting yelled at for going into the woods. So I saw they did not take the best care of their equipment, and having worked for CBS and Fox News for many years, I had a video degree. I knew how to handle all the gear. And long story short, they met me at a coffee shop. They said, hey, you can help out the team, but you can't be on the show. And I was like, that's fine. I've got 5 jobs anyway. And a couple months later, I'm on TV. So who knows what happens?
How did you go from being in the back, being part of the production crew, taking care of equipment, that kind of stuff, to being on the camera?
So, how'd you get promoted from the practice squad?
Yeah, I got moved up from the B team. So I was actually going out with their home team, which still exists today, and going to do some of the local cases that were not televised. And then they asked me to be on one when they were filming in Rhode Island, and it was close to home, so I was able to make that trip. And then they seemed to like having me around, and they brought me out. And I'm good for plucky comic relief. I'm not the best investigator. I'm very respectful and kind, but I don't get all the over the top evidence, but I at least enjoy the night, and I think it makes it more bearable for everybody else. So and that's good. You
got to have that, though. I mean, if you don't have that, everyone has to have that one personal levity around them to maybe break things up a little bit. Would you say you're that?
I think so. I mean, dear Lord, the world is like, wall to wall with misery and negativity all the time. So if nothing else, like, I'm there to have a good time. I'm serious about what I do for sure. But, I'm quick with a little joke or to lighten up the mood once in a while. And, I'm not like a practical joker. I don't like to do anything, like that. I don't like to make fun of people in like a bullying way or anything, but just kind of make light of situations and look into different things. And I'm big on perspective. I like to look at things and look at it in a way that I don't think many other people do. I fell down 32 slate stairs when I was a kid, and I cracked my head right open down the middle. They put it back together, like, pretty enough where I could still be on TV, but in a way where I don't think it works like normal. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on, and a lot of it just comes out sometimes, and people seem to find it okay.
So you're trying to tell me that taking a tiptoe through Dustin's head may be a chaotic place once in a while?
Yeah, a little bit, man. Like, a lot of people, God bless them, that take the time to read my books, man. It's all very stream of consciousness, and, like, I write the way I think, and the way I think is like a 5-page run-on sentence with not a lot of punctuation. But there's a lot of things in there that that I think kind of make sense in weird ways, and it seems people enjoy that.
I do.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mike, you've known Dustin a long time. How'd you two meet?
Twitter. He placed that Google ad for singles.
It comes right back to the dating site, doesn't it?
That was during my confusion days where I
he was experimenting. He was experimenting. Give the man some slack.
Yeah, I moved my profile out to the East Coast, so if anybody did respond, they didn't really know me, and Dustin just happened to respond.
I was just trying to be friendly, man.
It was a completely
you
platonic.
Knew that I needed a friend, and I appreciate it.
It was a completely platonic Harry met Sally moment, is what you're saying,
right?
Pretty much.
I think so. Yeah.
Yep.
We're still debating on who's who.
I look prettier in a wig, but that's all right.
I think you could probably do the it's Meg Ryan, right?
Meg Ryan, yeah.
Yeah. I think you could probably do the Meg Ryan better than me.
All right. Yeah, we'll go out to a restaurant sometime and practice that scene.
Karaoke, baby. But no, Twitter, pretty much. I started following him, and he was one of the guys that I just kind of wanted on my list after I was starting to see his posts and stuff like that. And I sent him a message, and I was like, "Hey, I got this show that nobody listens to. Would you like to spend some time and come on and just kind of talk about your career and stuff like that?" And he was nice enough to respond and be like, "Hell yeah, let's do it." And I think you've been on 3 times now.
Yeah, I think so. I think so, man.
See, something that's very interesting that you just mentioned, and me working in radio, and it's pretty common to write an email to somebody and you get their assistant. It sounds like, Dustin, you reply. When someone writes to you, they get you.
Yeah, I try to handle everything myself, and I like to, I've worked with several people over the years, but I always feel like when it comes to anything, no one's going to want, whatever's in your best interest more than you do. No one's going to be hungrier than you are, to take that next step in your career and your life. And so I like to try to handle pretty much everything myself. And, I know Mike was joking around about nobody listening to his show and everything, but sometimes you get like podcasts from like sometimes like young teenage kids like, this is my first time ever podcasting. It'd be on it, and I'm like, if I was that kid, like I'd be excited if somebody with like a decent level name, like I'm not a big A-list celeb by far, but like some people know me. I get a free sandwich at Subway once in a while. Life is good. So
yeah, well, I hear you.
I'm happy to do it.
I'm the same way you are. I answer all my own emails. I used to have an assistant until it really got to me that they were not answering the way I wanted to be answered.
Right.
So there was a point where I had to take control of my own ship. You know what? I want to talk to people. I don't need you to do this for me. I'm a grown-up. I can do this.
Yeah.
And I've always gone out of my way to help radio shows. It's been one of my passions is to take somebody with the fire and wanting to get somewhere in this business and helping them do that. Not because I want anything from them. Like you, I just enjoy to help other people out. I want to pass it, pay it forward, as it were.
Yeah. I hear you, man. And my first degree was in television and radio production. So I started out actually in radio as a board op. Like that was my first out of college job. So I kind of never forget where I came from with that too.
Yeah, radio can be very humbling. It can be a very
for sure.
humbling experience.
Lots of lonely times and empty
frustrating.
That's right. That's right. You
God.
know it. Nothing like live radio. To give
I
you
come from the old reel-to-reel times too.
Ah, yes, yes.
And,
Do you remember when the commercials were an 8-track cart?
Yeah.
Yes.
You had to load your carts up and multi-fire them. Oh yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm doing that up until
I'm just going to sit
5
back while
years
you
ago.
two nerd out.
or the big Mackie 24-channel board in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. But you felt like you were in control of something, like you were like a spaceship or something.
Yeah,
these blinking lights and buttons, and nobody in the studio but you in the middle of the night. But out there somewhere, somebody might be listening. Like who knows?
You just never know. I remember that though, thinking to myself, no one's listening anyway, so I'm gonna say whatever I want.
Yeah,
but that's how
right?
it got popular.
Yeah, for sure. Then the phone rings, like, oh, what? Am I in trouble?
And you pray it's not the general manager calling in to tell you to shut up. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's nice to hear that you have a little background, that you've done a lot of things. It sounds like you've done a lot of things in your life.
I've always had like a full-time job and a part-time job at least. At one time, like when I first was getting out of college, I had 5 part-time gigs. So I was everything from delivering pizza, shelving books in the morning at the bookstore back when we still had bookstores, and working radio on the weekends and the overnights, and working at the television station. Like it's just nonstop, Even once I got the TV show gig, like I still kept my job in healthcare. Like I'm still there. Mm-hmm. I got done actually. I can't speak to the project, but I just got done wrapping, filming a cameo for a project the last 3-4 days, doing an investigation. And then I drove back last night in the middle of a snowstorm, and I was back at work and working in surgery this morning. So it just keep going.
How do you do it, though? I mean,
I'm not sure.
You know what I mean?
I don't know. I really don't. I don't do energy drinks. I'm not into energy drinks. I drink like 1 coffee a day. I do admittedly eat a lot of sugar, which I know makes some people nervous, but I also work out a lot to balance that out. So I don't sleep a heck of a lot, but I'm getting things done.
Yeah.
So that's why I think the store should change their name to Dustin, rides on Duncan or drives on Duncan or whatever. Lives on Duncan.
That's it.
Or at least a sign on the side.
Like it.
It's America runs on Duncan is their current
runs on Duncan. That's right. It should
when I was
Dustin
a kid,
runs on Duncan.
When I was a child, it used to be Dunkin' Donuts. It's worth the trip because there wasn't many around. And now it's like there's places in Rhode Island you can see the Dunkin' Donuts from the Dunkin' Donuts that you're at. It's like, oh, there's another one just right there in case the line's too much here. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy how things have changed, and excess is the thing of the day. Yeah, I mean, it still is that way.
And order everything on your phone. We'll make it for you. Just walk up.
Yeah. You're not wrong. It's become very reclusive that way too.
Yeah, I think that's one of the problems. Our whole society can't communicate or deal with people face to face, and then we get lonely and we're depressed and we have anxiety and we have to talk to somebody because we have no experience doing it anymore. It's like, well, I can do it on my phone, but can you do it face to face? No, I can't. Yeah. It's I still like to go to the bank to pay my mortgage with a paper check and see the lady and get the receipt. Like it's like an adventure now, because nobody does it.
No one does that anymore. You're right, because Mike and I'm sorry about that. I didn't mean to walk all over you, but you're right. Social media began as a way for us all to connect, but it's turned into a way for us all to disconnect.
Agreed.
And there's people that you meet that are, in quotation marks, your friend on social media, but they won't acknowledge your presence in real life. Right. Yeah. Well, that's not what life's all about. We're all stuck together.
Yeah, for sure. There's this whole like fake reality, And I get it. It's good for some people that are like shut-ins or are unable to go out or really do have anxieties and phobias. But I feel like it's for most people, I think it's kind of changed the way that they interact with each other and with this world. And I think it's a great detriment to all of us.
I can't agree more. I really can't.
So I'm raising my hand. So I know
you're raising the roof. I thought we were at a 1980s house party.
Right?
Yeah.
But John Garabedian.
Since I'm white, it's lift the ceiling. But I digress. So I know this is completely anti-productive for the whole conversation, but I just had $1 million idea that everybody listening is not allowed to steal from me. Text therapist.
I'm sure there's going to be somebody out there doing it.
I'm going to start a new company, and it's going to be therapy completely by text.
They're already doing that. I think it's called My Voice
Shut
or whatever.
Up, Joe. My idea.
Maybe you could do it using only emojis and emoticons.
Well, there you go.
Or like GIF files.
I only use like 4 emojis, and it's like the 2 different versions of laugh, the big smile, and the regular smile.
I once met a guy that was a therapist, and I asked him, "How do you make people happier?" He says, "I tell them about my life. They feel much better about themselves when I'm done."
Comparison is a great tool.
That's why I've agreed to talk about my social life here tonight, so that everybody that's lonely can feel not so much anymore. So
we're going to make you a love connection. You wait and see.
Right.
Not tonight.
We have Chuck Willery here on the show tonight, Dustin.
Since I'm sorry, Joel, go ahead.
And we're going to make that love connection before we're done.
I think we can make that happen.
I think we can,
Dustin. Do you have a question for Mike?
Well, we do have a question for Dustin.
If Mike was the pizza,
Joel,
what pizza would he be?
I was going to say, Joel, write that down as a future show idea.
There you go. If you got a question for Dustin, feel free to text that in 612-326-6871. 612-326-6871. Go ahead, text that into us. Be a part of the show. And we've already got a bunch of them in the queue lined up, and they're all, of course, Ghost Hunter related. Dustin, the first one coming out of the gate is Sarah. She'd like to know, when you were filming for Ghost Hunters, was there ever a time that you felt frightened for your own safety?
Thanks for the question, Sarah. You know, there were times, not so much with the paranormal that it was frightening. Although, yeah, there's definitely some times where it's a little bit unnerving. But there's been times I remember we were just talking about this, actually. My buddies and I, we were in New Bedford, Massachusetts once, and we were doing an old fort. And I was with my friend KJ, and we hear voices, and we're like, they're too real to be a spiritual type thing, you know? And we follow them, and in a hole under the ground, in what I can only describe as a labyrinth of a little series of chambers that we had to go in to be a part of this fort in the first place, in a hole in one of these innermost chambers were 2 people that were shooting up heroin.
Oh.
And so now we're dealing with kind of like a squatter situation, and they're obviously in an altered state. And when we, come upon them, we radio to our production company to make sure that everyone's aware. And we try to explain to them that they need to leave the area. And once they became verbally violent, the police were called, and they had to pull them out of there. And the guy had a knife on them. And they had to arrest him, and it became very, situations like that. I think are more dangerous than anything from a spiritual realm that I've ever come across. Is I did the international show for several years too, and there's many times that we go into some of these old abandoned buildings and we think the area is clear, and then during the night you come across somebody, and sometimes they're just on hard times and they're looking for a way to get out of the weather, and we give them some money and then go somewhere for the night, or we give them some food or whatever we can. Mm-hmm. But sometimes you get people that are of a violent mindset, and so you do have to be very careful with that, and just another reason not to go into places that are unfamiliar and unsafe.
Yeah, it's not the ghosts, it's the people usually. You're absolutely right.
Walmart is also deadly, I think. I try to stay out of there at all hours. It's very frightening to me.
Especially after dark.
Yeah, no, for sure. Everybody wants to become like rich and famous. My goal is just to make enough money so I can go to Target more often. Like that's...
Yeah,
I will make it at that point.
That's $1 million. That's the next show. Walmart After Dark.
Believe it or not, Mike, you could do a whole show, a whole web series on the things that you would see in a Walmart parking lot after dark.
Sure. The People of Walmart website was pretty popular. There's a lot of people shaming, which is unfortunate. But
yeah, that's all it is. Yeah.
When you're rolling out in your pajamas at midday, you kind of gotta expect there's gonna be some blowback at some point.
Just a little bit. Just a wee little bit.
Somebody's gonna make a comment.
Well, if they didn't want to be exploited, they wouldn't be doing it.
Put some pants on, dang it! We're trying to live life here.
Pull your pants up.
So we have another question?
Yeah, we got another question. Kind of related to that first question, when you were filming Ghost Hunters, was there a security detail to ensure your safety? I think you kind of answered that. There probably was not.
There was not. The only time, and this is a great little sidebar, the only time we actually had a paid security detail that I recall was in South America. We were in Brazil, and we were filming in the favela area, which is a very unsafe area, pretty much run by like some of the drug cartels there. And we had to pay protection money to what they gave us as our security guard. It looked like a 14-year-old boy with an automatic weapon that was bigger than he was. But we were completely okay because he was just protecting us from his friends who we really paid off, so the whole thing was just a work. And I was just like, this is ridiculous. They basically are just stealing money from people, but if you don't pay them, then they're going to rob all your equipment. So,
Gotcha.
So we paid security, but really security was just the gang themselves.
Yeah, and if you didn't pay them again, they just take it anyway.
Yeah, so it's,
Brazilian mob.
Yep, good times down in the favelas of Brazil.
Next question, really quickly. I loved you on Ghost Hunters International, Kevin says, by the way. Missed the show, but do you keep in touch with your castmates? Because you don't hear from them as often as I'd like.
Yeah, Kevin, I do. For the most part, I have no ill will toward any of them, but life happens, and we're all kind of scattered all over the place. I kind of stay out there. I've never really left like the convention circuit doing things, so I'm out there quite regularly. So I see a lot of people from different shows and different brands and everything. But Barry, I stay in touch with. I just talked to Rob Demarest a couple weeks ago. My good friend Brandy Green is really just getting back into the circuit, doing events and everything a lot. Ashley Godwin has a YouTube series that she does herself. So I do stay in touch with a lot of them. And like I said, life gets in the way. Sometimes you don't get to be in touch with everybody. But for the better part of 2-3 years, these people are like family to me. Traveling the world. So I'm very thankful to all the time I get to spend with all of them.
Very, very cool. And do you think that YouTube might be the wave of the future for the next big show that comes out? Because I've noticed a lot of good, and I hate to use the word amateur because that's what they are. They're not getting paid. They're doing it out of love.
Right.
Do you think that'll be the next big hit? Will be coming out of the YouTube community rather than coming from corporate television?
Yeah, I mean, in many ways, I've like I said, I'm thankful to know a lot of people and work with a lot of different circles. And, there's Carl Pfeiffer and Connor Randall and Greg and Dana Newkirk. And they have a program on YouTube called Hellier. And they've actually done
watching that.
2 seasons of it. I mean, and it's Carl and Connor are fantastic with production as well as their skills in investigating. And you mix that with what I think the Newkirks bring. And that is a well-produced, for all intents and purposes, amateur, because it's not, produced by a big production company. But what of it? Like they, I think, really kind of broke that barrier to prove that doesn't matter.
It's kind of like honest
it's about content.
Yeah, I was going to say, Dustin, it's like honest television at that point because they don't have anything really to lose. I mean, they don't have sponsors at the pander to. They don't have this, they don't have that, so they can truly do it as a labor of love.
Yeah, and I think they do a great job of it. I was very intrigued watching the series, and but yeah, there's a lot of changes, and I mean, just like with radio, there's been so many changes over the years. In television, it's ridiculous now. Like, so I pay for cable, and then I pay for like 5 streaming services, and then I watch half the stuff on my phone when I'm at the gym. What the heck happened? Like we used to, I'm used to having the rabbit ear antennas with the aluminum foil on top so I could get the stations from Boston so I could watch the Bozo the Clown show when I was a kid. And now it's like you stream everything, you pay for all this stuff.
Too much in a lot of ways.
People are like, hey, did you watch the show? I'm like, what platform is it on? Because I have no clue where it is. It's crazy. So yeah, very much so. The next, wave of paranormal television, I think, in many ways, has been started. And I think that Hellier is a great example of people that can put together really good content, intriguing storylines, and well-produced. And you don't need the production company.
Yeah, you can bypass the man, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because there used to be a big gatekeeper to get into television. I mean, it was a monumental gatekeeper.
Sure. Yeah, it was ridiculous.
And it's interesting because we had... they have a show called Destination Fear, and I'm not endorsing the show, although I like the guys because they're from Minnesota. they're doing it, but they learned everything they know about camera work from watching YouTube videos.
Right.
So they were able to take...
You can learn so much now. It's ridiculous. Like, honestly, things break around the house. I'm like, I know nothing about plumbing, but I bet you there's a YouTube video that'll tell me how to fix the water tank.
I bet there is. We got to run a break. We come back. More Dustin Pari. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this.
Northern Tool and Equipment.
So Daddy's little girl thinks she's going to prom tonight with some punk who calls himself Snake.
Yeah, they grow up so fast.
Well, not if I can help it, they don't.
Okay, here's what you do. When that kid shows up, Dad's going to be doing a few chores around the house.
Huh?
It doesn't matter the chore. What's important is that it requires the use of a 60cc gas-powered chainsaw and possibly a mask.
I think it's showtime.
He's here. Dad, I want you to meet...
All right, let her rip.
What's that, honey? Hi, Snake. Great to meet you. But wait, where are you going?
There's no problem a little horsepower can't solve. Northern Tool and Equipment.
Ranger Station, Ranger speaking.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to report a bear sighting.
Location.
My backyard.
Oh, your backyard. Try telling a bear that.
I did, and this bear talked back.
Talking bear, that's rich.
No, wait, it was Smokey Bear.
Smokey? Why didn't you say so?
I did say so.
Continue.
I was burning yard waste.
No, boy.
He told me to burn legally and responsibly, and to remember that if it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave.
And as always, he's right. You know, 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans. That means 9 out of 10 wildfires can be prevented.
Yeah, I know that now.
Thanks to me.
Actually, thanks to Smokey.
As usual, the talking bear gets all the credit. Get your Smokey on. Always burn responsibly and contact your local fire department for open burning regulations. Because 9 out of 10 wildfires can be prevented. Brought to you by Smokey Bear, the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at smokeybear.com.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
And welcome back to After Hours AM, and we're already laughing because Dustin's such a great guy. He's very entertaining even during the breaks. I'm your host, Joel Sturgis, right along with me, Michael O'Neill. Yes, there we go. We got that time. Now, Dustin, when we're leaving, there is still a whole lot of questions that we need to ask. We're going to do a couple rapid-fire ones.
Let's do it.
First question is, Dustin, what do you like to watch on your off time? What's your preferred paranormal television, if any?
I don't watch a lot of paranormal TV, and that's not a comment on anybody making paranormal TV. As I said, I do watch stuff to promote my friends. Like I watch Heller, I watch Kindred Spirits, I check in with Ghost Nation and Ghost Hunters. And I'm friends with many people from many shows. But if you were a dentist and you drilled teeth all day, do you want to go home and watch a show about people drilling teeth all day? The answer is no.
I know
so
the feeling.
I watch wrestling. I watch wrestling a lot and cartoons.
That's right up my alley. I actually work for a wrestling promotion, but that's a whole nother story. Same thing for me for radio. I get a lot of submissions for me to listen to radio, and once I'm done doing the radio, I just don't want to listen to any more radio. So I apologize and say I didn't get to your show, because it's just hard to do. Second question is, Dustin, this might be a little bit touchy one, but I will ask it anyway. How do you feel about the evidence that's being presented nowadays on paranormal television?
You know, just with anything else, like you really don't know unless you're there. And having been doing paranormal investigations so many years of my life, since I was 15, there's some stuff I look at and like, I really have a hard time believing that. So I can see sometimes some things are presented, I think, more for entertainment value than anything factual, which if that's the way people want to conduct themselves and that's what they want to do, that's on them. You know, it's still television. But for me, I think it does a great detriment to the reality of the spiritual realm and our spirituality. You know, we're creatures, we're spiritual creatures going through a human existence. And I think that when we present things that are fake, just in hopes that somebody will watch, I think we do a great detriment to the reality of who we are as spiritual beings and all the things that are really out there.
I couldn't agree
Amen.
more. I really could not agree more with you. And I know that during the break we kind of plan a little bit the interview as we go, and you do a lot of things. You're a motivational speaker, and you're also an author. But let's talk a little bit about that motivational part. What got you into that?
So that came about. I always tell people, I think I've just, I have a helpful heart. I try to help people out. I look for opportunities to help people. Little things like today I saw an elderly man trying to move his carriage, the grocery cart here in New England, we call them carriages. He was trying to bring it over to the little corral where you put it, and it's icy and it's been snowy and rainy, and so I saw him. I walked over. I was like, "Hey, let me take that in for you." He's like, "Oh, thank you," and it's just a stupid little thing. It probably didn't do much, but it made his day a little bit easier. I'm big into holding open doors for people, buying coffees, that kind of thing. But it started basically when I was on the international show. I'd spend a lot of time in the hotel room out there. It's just part of life on the road. And back in the days of a thing called MySpace, the original social media platform, people would write to me and they'd ask questions about the show. But then it became, love, romance questions and work questions, and then sadly there was a lot of serious things between people that were cutting and self-harming, and then some people that were in such a dark place that they were contemplating suicide. And I'm not a counselor, but I'm willing to listen and try to help people and point them in the right direction. And that's really how it all began. And then I started to realize, I'm on TV, and for some reason, we look up to people that we see on television and in various parts of media, and we want to get to know them, and we want their opinion, and we value who they think, is important and such like that. So I wanted to do the best I could with the little platform I was given. And so I've always done what I can for others. And now I'm thankful. I go around. I do some work for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. I do some fundraisers for them. And I do a lot of lectures at schools and things, and talk to a lot of kids. And I get a YouTube series called Hey, Got a Minute that's on my YouTube channel. And I put together these little, 1 to 3 minute videos every day. And we make series of 60 of them, and they're all wacky and weird, but little motivational things to try to help people out and maybe bring them to a better tomorrow, And actually, just while I was mentioning the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, I am doing an event in Ashmore, Illinois, on April 18th. We're going to be out there at Ashmore Estates, and if anybody would like to come be a part of that or make a donation to the AFSP, we do welcome it. If you're looking for information about all my events, it's just at dustinpari.com. That's Dustin, P as in Paul, ARI.com. And we'd love to see some of you guys out in Illinois for that very special event.
Yeah, check it out.
It is.
And donate as well, because suicide has touched so many families and so many lives. We need to get a handle on that epidemic.
Yeah,
we really do. We've lost too many good people to it.
Yeah, very sad but true.
And if you can, and if you can take a moment to even talk to somebody, just acknowledge that they matter in this world, do it, because that means the world. I think we've all been at that moment of depression. We've all been at that moment of doubting, where thankfully somebody was there to be there and kind of lift you up. So I really admire that, Dustin.
Oh, thanks, Joel. I just do it because, unfortunately, I lost some people along the way, and I just don't want anybody else to have to go through that, on both sides of it. And there's times too, like my social media feeds, I spend most of my time on Twitter, and I keep everything 99% of the time very upbeat and uplifting and everything. And it doesn't mean my life is all rainbows and lemonade, but that's what I choose to go out there and put out there and try to put good messages out there for people. But, I'm not without my struggles and difficulties as well. Mm-hmm. And I always tell people, we're all in this life together. And I think one of the big things is we don't really take a lot of time to listen to each other anymore, and it's become very sad and isolating in that aspect. And there's something actually I talked about in my recent videos. It's called phubbing, where it's with the PH, where people are just snubbing you with their phone. Like you go over to talk to them, and a couple of moments into the conversation, they take their phone out of their pocket and they start looking at that. And then next thing you know, you're just basically talking to yourself, mm-hmm. and you can tell that they're not paying attention at all. And we are isolating, each other in that. And somebody who's going through a very difficult time and is is really in need of somebody to listen to them, that can be very off-putting and very detrimental to them, because if you feel that you're not important and you're going through something difficult and you try to talk to somebody, and a couple of moments into it, they basically prove your point by taking their phone out and staring at it and doing something else. Mm-hmm. That's a horrible comment on us as a society and us as a people, that we cannot get outside of ourselves, even for a moment, to pay attention to somebody. A quick story, because I know we have a lot to talk about, but I was at Target a couple of years ago, and I saw a gentleman in a wheelchair fall over in the parking lot. And I was just leaving, and I look, and I see him there, so I park my truck, and as I walk over, there were two women, young girls, walked right by him. They could have reached down and touched this guy. Walked right by him, didn't even stop to say, "Are you okay? Do you need anything?" Just kept going. And I thought, my God, what have we become?
Yeah.
That this is even a reality, And it's just, I am no superhero. I am no better than anybody else. I'm the same sperm and egg like everybody else walking this dang earth. But I just try to get outside of my own head and help people out when opportunity presents itself, even if it's uncomfortable and inconvenient, because everybody is equally important in this life.
What's your best guess to why we've gotten to this point? Because I remember a magical time called the 90s when it almost, I thought it was bad back then, but we didn't have all those distractions. People seem to go out of their way a little bit more back in those days. I don't want to sound like an old man and say, back in my day. But in all reality, do you think it was the advent of social media, or do you think it was,
I do.
What do you think, what's the root?
Yeah, I really do. I think that it's easy to isolate ourselves and other people now, and a lot of couples and everything, you share the same marital bed, but you both get in bed and you both just stare at your phones all night.
Yeah.
Like you're not connecting to the person that's right there with you, and I think that is something that is becoming a big problem. You would go out and you would hang out like as kids. We'd ride our bikes together. We'd go to each other's house. Yeah, we play video games, but we're sitting in the same room and stuff,
Yeah.
Now, kids are live 3 houses away from each other, but they just FaceTime and just leave the computer on all day.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And
we're kind of spacing. By the way, okay, so a quick dad story. Now, I live in my house, obviously, like people do, and I walk around my house comfortable, sometimes just in pajama pants or whatever, and sometimes it's lazy Sunday morning and go downstairs, make an egg and waffle in my boxers and walk around for a little bit because I'm in my own house. Dang it, it's fine. And then I'll go by the living room and there's a laptop with some teenage girl looking at me. I'm like, whoa! And I go over to my daughter. I'm like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, I was FaceTiming her, but I went upstairs to my room to get something. I'm like, so you just leave the laptop on with this camera and this young child staring into my world? I'm like, this is dear Lord.
Privacy is truly gone. Privacy is non-existent.
Man. It's crazy. It really is. But I do think it's great because we can connect to anybody and we can find out all these things. Yeah. But I think that we have, in some way, we've become so self-important. You customize your YouTube channel. You customize your TV things. You customize your ads are customized for you. Everything is customized for you, you. How many likes did your YouTube video get? How many likes did your comment get? How many retweets? How many this? You become your own little god or goddess, and we've lost the main things that make us human. And it's getting worse. And I'm becoming that grumpy old man. But dang it, I'm there.
Get off my lawn. Yeah, I get you, man. I do. Really quickly, I'm guilty of it because it used to be when I would leave the office, everything left behind, right?
Yeah.
Now I got this iPhone in my pocket. My office comes with me.
You're stuck. Yeah. And my dad gets mad at me. I'll talk to my father about it. He's like, I'll go visit him and my mom, and the phone will ding, and I'll look at it. The phone will ding, and I look at it.
Yeah.
It's like, tell those dang doctors you work at that you're not on their dime. And I said, Dad, it's not like your day. You slid down the back of the dinosaur and went home, and Wilma had food on the table, and that was the end of it.
He screamed yabba dabba doo on his way out of the office, and that was that.
You were never off the clock anymore. It's ridiculous. They don't let you escape. It's really.
I'm trying, though, really Dustin. I am trying.
I feel you, man.
I am
trying too. You ignore, and then you get the message. Did you get my message? Did you get my message? How can you respond? Because it's 9 o'clock at night, and I'm not at work. That's why.
Yeah. Absolutely. Mike, how do you feel about all that?
I agree with Dustin that we've become a very self-centered and self-important type society. And I think it's, like he said, with social media and everything, and that I see it at work all the time. I mean, I don't get out that often anymore, but I saw it at work, and it's the mentality of not my problem.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was the exact thing that came to mind when you were talking about those girls that passed by the guy with the wheel. You know, they can look at him, they probably know that he needs help, but they're like, but if I do that, then I'm going to be delayed doing this, and I'm going to be delayed doing that. And, you know, what if he wants to talk? It becomes, it's not my problem. Yeah. And I
but you
sometimes I'm.
Yeah, but
sorry, go ahead, Joe.
We're not that far from the guy in the wheelchair. We're not that far from that as a human being. I mean, we should still have the human emotion to want to help each other. I completely understand where Dustin and you are coming from. And that lack of empathy has gone.
Exactly. Yeah, there was a study, I can't remember if it was Duke University or Penn State, did a study a couple of years ago, and like they would always, part of a personality, a psychological test or whatever it was, they put together for their incoming freshmen, and for the first time, they noted such a drastic lack in empathy. And I think that really is, empathy is one of the big things that make us human, and I think that we're getting further and further from that, you know, and we don't think what other people are going through or how it affects them. We just think about how it affects us, you know.
Yeah,
so
we don't know what's going on in their life and, you know, their own struggles because we all got them.
Yeah.
And I don't think the creator asks you when you get there, hey, great job on that Facebook post you did last week.
Yeah,
you
I
know,
saw all the likes you got.
Yeah, he's going to ask, how did you treat others while you were there?
You would hope so. I don't know, man.
You know,
I'm still trying to get an invite to the party upstairs. I'm
right?
doing my best.
Right?
That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, we got to talk about your books. You're also an accomplished author, and I noticed you got quite a few different books out there. Very interesting stuff. I was kind of reading as much as I could about those and what you're doing. You write about, like, one of them is "And the Devil Shivered," about your own hectic schedule.
Yeah, just life on the road, man. Yeah, people read the title and they think it's gonna be like some satanic book. I'm like, no, that's a lyric from a Willie Nelson song.
I got it. I knew the tune.
It's great. Yeah, man, I love it. I love Willie, and I'm on the road all the time, and music is one of the things that's been there through my whole life. It's been very important, and I think it's nice because it's like a little portal. Like, it can take you back in time to any day. Like, sometimes I'll hear something, I'm like, man, I remember the first time I heard that, you know. But And the Devil Shivered every day for a year, and a lot of the motivation behind that was one, I wanted to have kind of a record of it for my daughter when she gets older, to see what it was her dad did and why he did the things he did. But a lot of times too, the comments I would get from people, you know, one of my biggest, like, little pet peeves is somebody will write to me, ask for advice, and I try to help them the best I can, and they say, oh, well, if it was just that easy, oh, it's easy for you because you're on TV. And I'm like, it is not that easy. Like, you have no idea what I go through all the time, you know? And so I just put pen to paper and put it all out there. I was like, okay, we're gonna chronicle a whole year of everything that we do. And there's a lot of, like, happy little nonsense stories and a lot of my weird musings, and there's a lot of loneliness in there too, you know, which is that shared human struggle of just, they think it's a lot of people think it's like this romantic lifestyle, like this is wonderful thing. You're on television and you travel. I work, a day job that commands about 50 hours a week. I get on a flight when I get out Friday, and then I fly to some place. I'm alone all day in the airport. I get in a rental car. I drive to a lonely hotel room. If I'm lucky, it's early enough, I can get a pizza, and I can watch Ancient Aliens, and then I can go to bed and then stand behind a table and do a lecture and be a rock star for 2 days, and then get back in that rental car and get back in that plane and go back to work for another 50 hours, you know. And I'm not complaining about it. I'm thankful for it, but it's not easy.
I hear it. One time I did 300 dates on the road for a few years. I was gone 300 days a year. Yeah. And it is a hard life. It is not easy, and that's why even today now I'm reluctant to travel. I get invited to go cover this or that. Now I'm at a point in my career where it's like, I don't want to. I don't want to go do that. I got kids at home. They need me more than you do.
Now I'm trying to get them to send me.
Yeah. Well, another one of your titles that I really enjoyed, and I want to read the book. My house is haunted. Now what?
Yeah, that's one of my old paranormal books. That one, Barry and I, my little Irish buddy, since we were traveling the world, we decided that we wanted to kind of chronicle some of the stories, not just to tell people haunted tales from different parts of the planet, but really take a look at how the different societies and their understandings and their religious understandings looked at the paranormal and what their steps and procedures were in understanding it and dealing with it. And so that was nice because, yeah, for sure, there's some drastic little contrasts here and there, but what I thought was beautiful was the commonality of the respect for the human spirit and the idea of the transition from this life into the next, and that was important. And I've been working on 2 books for the last 2 years, but last year kind of got away from me for a variety of reasons. But I'm on the road a lot. I've done I think I did 48 gigs last year, 52 the year before. So I'm busy a lot. But I'm writing my first ever straight up motivational book that I'm probably about halfway done with, and then I'm writing my first ever fiction book, which is a weird, wonderful, whimsical tale. It's like a little bit of Wizard of Oz, a little bit of Alice in Wonderland, and it's got a lot of characters in there from my Magical Mystery Box motivational lecture, and it's a motivational, fictional, strange book that people are going to be like, what really goes on in your head? And I'll be like, this right here.
Yeah, well, one more quick paranormal question. It's coming in, and I'm reading this, and I get what they're saying, so I'm just going to ask it the way they wrote it.
Okay.
Dustin, do you believe that the saturation of paranormal programming has taken us from a hobby to an obsession, maybe even an unhealthy obsession?
I could see that. I kind of feel like there's definitely an oversaturation in the market. Like, there's so many shows, and which is fine. I mean, different strokes for different folks and things, but honestly, I don't watch a lot of it, like I said, but when I click through, it really blends together. I'm like, this seems the same as that. And the hook isn't even different enough to make. I have a marketing and advertising degree, and the point of difference between different products is what you need to emphasize to get somebody to buy, laundry detergent A over laundry detergent B. I look at this paranormal show, I look at that paranormal show, I'm like, I don't see a point of difference. It all seems to be the same thing, And I think that, and here's the danger of it is, and my good friend John Tenney and I talked about this in a lecture several years ago at a convention. People think that the paranormal is a fascination with death, and for many people it has become that. But what it really should be is a celebration of life, and realizing that we're researching and acknowledging that there is an afterlife and that our soul goes on from there. And my mission from day one in doing television, in part of my paranormal research, was hoping that when people saw these things and they saw this evidence, they'd realize, you know what, there's some accountability somewhere after this life for the things I do while I'm here as a person. Maybe I shouldn't be such a horrible human being, and maybe start living a better life. And that's what I still hope will come out of it. But I feel like it is overwhelming, and people are becoming jaded with it. And I think that, unfortunately, a lot of the nonsense is what people celebrate, and they're losing the reality of it.
And everybody wants to be, for lack of a better term, you. They want the fame. Everybody. But there's always that perception of wanting. If I heard from everybody tells me when they email me, I want to come on the radio. Okay, that's fine. You can come on the radio. What do you got to say? Well, I want to be famous. I want a TV show. Are you sure that's what you want? Are you sure you want your life to be under a magnifying glass?
If somebody gives you the choice between fame and fortune, take fortune
every time. I will laugh to the bank with that check.
Yep.
In a heartbeat.
No one has to know my name. That's fine.
Exactly.
The best part of the notoriety for me is just being able to help others. That's the thing I care about. I never did it to try to become rich and famous, but as a wonderful byproduct of I have some amazing people that have supported me over the years, because I leave TV shows all the time. I left Ghost Hunters to get married. I left Ghost Hunters International because I had a young family and I wanted to be home with them. And still, my fans and my supporters show up at my events. They email me. They buy the books. They support my YouTube videos. Good people. And I feel like I have family and friends all over the world. And that is something that that money can't buy, and that's something that was a byproduct, sure, of the show and of the fame that came with it. But it really, I think, speaks more to how all our lives are woven together. And I'm so thankful for those opportunities to have met so many people and hopefully helped so many people.
But something that has struck me, though, you talking, and I don't hear it enough. You've taken this notoriety. I mean, you try to downplay it, like like normal, modest people do. But you've taken this notoriety, and you've done good with it. You've taken it into the world to make a positive difference. Not a, hey, look at me, aren't I great? But you're more interested in helping others. And that's a rare thing, my friend. And I mean that. I'm not just saying that. That is a rare thing these days.
It's very kind of you to say, my friend. And all I can hope is that maybe more people might see that and want to do the same thing, just so we can try to help more people out. Because it's funny, one of the biggest things that people say to me all the time is, they think I'm like some starry-eyed like hippie that still thinks he can change the world, but I really believe we can. I mean, we've changed it into this. We've changed it in a negative way, so why can't we change it in a positive way? And I believe that we can if we just are willing to try. And I think a lot of us just don't want to try anymore.
I would agree.
So I'm going to tell the story again when you come on the Odyssey Files here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to act surprised.
Okay.
But, so I've been saving the story. I haven't told you that yet. About how you think that you're trying to change the world, and so a couple months ago, maybe 6-7 months ago, I'm at work, and part of my job is to take trailers. I'm in the transportation industry, is to take trailers in and out of the doors. And there's a driver that always comes in that I like that has to hook up, the smaller trailers, the doubles. And I had some time on my hands, and I was like, should I hook a setup for him? Because that would probably make his day. It'd be a lot easier for him. He'd get in and out faster. And I'm sitting there, I'm debating with myself, and the one question I go, I said this, literally, I said, Dustin would do it. And and I did literally, I was like, Dustin would effing do it. and I went and hooked up the set for him, and he was very, very grateful. But
that's nice.
The things that you do and the things that you say do make a difference. Because one of the things that I absolutely loved about you, and before you ever came on my show, was the fact of almost every single night you posted the suicide hotline number.
Yeah.
And I've never seen that from anybody else. I mean, I see it on Facebook every once in a while, but definitely not as often or as
genuinely
as you do. And I absolutely love that about you. And like I said, the fact that you were one of my favorite people in the paranormal field has been earned. It hasn't been given; it has been earned.
That's very kind.
I just wanted to end by saying that.
Thank you very much. That's very nice of you to say. It was nice of you to do for that gentleman as well. And those little things, I really do think make a big, big difference. And I think it's somewhere around 5 or 6 years now, man, that every night I always sign off with that phone number, because you never know. You leave the light on for somebody. I always ask people to retweet it, share it. You never know, who might need that.
Yeah, you don't know who that's reaching that needs that at that time.
Yeah, and it takes me 2 seconds and copy and paste the same tweet every night, but that could be somebody's life. And I wish it wasn't the case where people needed it, but I'm thankful to say over the years I've received emails. I've had people come to conventions and tell me, you have no idea what, when you posted that night, that was going to be it for me. Mm-hmm. And it's the most amazing thing. If I never do another TV show or never make another dollar from any of this stuff that's come from television, none of that matters. One of those people saying that just one life is worth more than anything else, anything of this fame and television thing could have brought me.
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show, Dustin. It's really been an honor to talk with you. And anyone that wants to look you up, of course, I encourage you to do so. DustinPari.com has all the information where you can meet Dustin at an event, all of his foundation stuff, his motivational speaker stuff. You can also get the books. I mean, it's quite the website. Check it out. I encourage them to do that. Till next time, guys, take care of each other and love each other. See you next time. After Hours AM is a production of Midwest Radio Productions. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. And please visit www.americas-most-haunted.com. This show has been produced by